Good morning, everybody. We're so glad to have you here and welcome to the 2021 MBE Input Committee All Hands Forum, hosted by your very own Mountain Plains MBEIC. My name is Brittany Westware. I am the Regional Manager for MBE Services and Business Development for your very own Mountain Plains Council. And I am super excited to introduce the chair of the MBEIC. I have worked one-on-one with him, as well as helped plan some of these wonderful events for you all. And I am truly excited to be the person to introduce none other than your very own chair, Mr. D. Arnold, representing from WWT. So without further ado, the next voice you will hear after mine will be none other than D. Arnold. Welcome, D.
Thank you, Brittany. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. You know, we find ourselves in some very interesting times where we're Zoom meetings, and that's the way that we're communicating with each other. I hope you're like me. I hate Zoom meetings. I can't wait to see everyone in person where I can hug you, shake your hands, talk to you, smile and laugh, and hopefully even have a cocktail with you at the end of the day. You know, today is a day where we come together, and when I was doing research about all hands, I got many different definitions. But at the end of the day, all hands is really a town hall. It's a town hall meant to bring us information, also to bring us together as a community. And I think that we really need that community in this time. You know, there's a lot of companies out there surviving and striving, and then there's some of us out there struggling, and some unfortunately are going to business. And we hope today that we will bring the community closer together and that we can help everyone grow regardless of your size. And more importantly, and I hope that what we can do is that have you take away one relationship today that you can work upon and build upon and grow upon. So with that, I turn it back over to Brittany.
Thank you so much, Dee. I am also privileged to introduce one of our very own wonderful staff members. She is probably a piece of the heart of the council, if you will. Belinda Hook, she is the market president for the Mountain Plains MPMSDC. Of course, her prior role, she was the president and CEO of a successful promotional marketing and advertising company for 8 years. She was also a member of this very own council. As a business owner, Belinda received so many awards, including Businesswoman of the Year from the Colorado Black Women for Political Action, Advocate of the Year from the Minority Enterprise and Education Development, and Supplier of the Year by the Rocky Mountain Supplier Development Council. Belinda's also worked in various management positions in both corporate and government entities, and she obtained her Bachelor's of Science degree from Dana College and her Master's of Public Administration from the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Without further ado, the next voice you're going to hear after mine is that of our very own market president, Miss Belinda Hooks.
Well, thank you and good morning. Thank you so much, Brittany, for that wonderful introduction. I definitely appreciate that. And Big D, we look forward to seeing you soon. Absolutely. We love WWT and the support and the leadership. So thank you so very much. So with that, I have a few slides that I need to get through. And I know that many of you probably know this information, but want to make sure that we share it accordingly. So the mission of the council, let me start off with that, is to provide corporate America and government entities with greater access to goods and services of minority-owned businesses in order to develop lasting and mutually beneficial relationships. That is our mission of the council. Please keep going. The NMSDC, we are one of 23 affiliate councils. In case you do not know, we have a new president and CEO, Ms. Yeen McGuire, just joined the NMSDC as the president here recently. The NMSDC is headquartered in New York, and just a little tidbit of information for you, more than 34% of the MBEs within the NMSDC is considered to be class 1. That is in terms of annual sales less than $1 million. We certify and we vet on behalf of corporate America, minority-owned companies. Our president and CEO, Stan, is here with us and on the line, is Stan Senna. Stan has been the president and CEO for 12 years. Our territory is Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, and Western Missouri. We have over 350 certified MBEs, over 130 regional and national members that are part of our council, corporate members. Within our MBEs, there's over 69,000 in terms of people employed. You'll see the $1 billion, 18 billion in revenue that was generated by our own certified MBEs. And we also operate the Minority Business Development Agency, the MBDA, where Andre Hargrave is the director. We also operate the Corona Response and Relief Act as well. The vision of the council is to be the bridge to help corporations create wealth within the minority community by connecting them to capable and qualified MBEs for contracting opportunities. Keep going. That is the vision. So just wanted to give you a little bit of breakdown in terms of from the NMSDC. Of course, we certify African American, Asian, Native American, Hispanic. You will see the figures as it relates to the NMSDC in terms of the national breakdown, and of course, the number of corporate members. So 4 goals across the network: certify, develop, advocate, and connect. And just want to spend a minute on each one of these just so you'll know. So Brittany Westware, who you have already met, is our regional MBE services manager and definitely spends time one-on-one with our MBEs. We are considered to have the gold standard in terms of the certification. And what that really means and equals, we vet suppliers on behalf of corporate America. Keep going. This is some of the information. Of course, all of this information you can find on the council's website, but just for those of you who are new, it really is a process in terms of making sure that you provide all of the information accordingly regarding certification. We also, another pillar is that we develop. What does that mean? It equals building new suppliers and enhancing overall capacity to deliver products and services. So let me just spend just a couple of things that we have going on, and you'll see some slides at the end as well. So we have an MBE University that will be kicking off in October. That is with the University of Nebraska system. Certainly want to thank all of our sponsors for that particular development and educational program that we will be bringing forth. Many of you are already aware that if you are a Class 2 MBE, that we are launching next month the Centers of Excellence Certificate Program with Rutgers University, brought to us by Cargill. This is very significant. This particular program will focus on MBEs that are in the Class 2, those sales that are revenues that are $1 million to 10. And then, of course, we do tailored webinars. As I mentioned, we are the operators for the MBDA as well as the CARES Act grant. And these are some of the other educational opportunities that we have had within the council. Next slide. So we connect. So some of the things, if you just missed last week, we had the Effigy event where I believe we had 6 folks on from Effigy that really talked about their process. They are located in the Kansas City, Missouri area, but it's really about matching buyers with suppliers to do business to close the economic wealth gap. So that's another pillar that we do. We also have coming up the Business Alliance Forum that will be held in December. And we've been advertising our second regional business opportunity exchange that will be held on September 16th. We've also done the MBE Spotlight. Many of you that are on this line today are joining us. You have been featured in the MBE Spotlight. And of course, the council will continue to provide virtual introductions. And the last pillar is to advocate on behalf of our MBEs. And what does that mean? Is to provide pathways to partnering and awarding of contracts. So these are some of the things that you'll see that we have done as relates to advocacy, whether it's a dual certification or contract payment terms, mentoring, introductions to prime contractors, and more. Next slide. So these are just some of the things that we have had featured. If you are certified with the council, you already know that you have a secured password and that we put within the MBE website or on our website some of the opportunities. And these are just some of the companies in terms of things that have come out in terms of how corporate America is stepping up in terms of supporting, sponsoring, engaging minority suppliers. Next slide. These are some of our regional and national corporate members that are part of our council. I will not go through this list, but all of this information you can find on the council's website. The MBDA Business Center, I believe I saw Andre online. Andre, are you still with us? These are just some of the goals that were set in terms of the number of clients that were served, the number of contracts and procurement, as well as the jobs that were created. And you have the stats in terms of where that was compiled. Next slide. The Corona Response and Relief Award Services. Marvin Lyman, are you with us? I believe I saw Marvin and heard Marvin. Marvin is also the director for the Corona Response and Relief Award Services. These are services funded by the U.S. Department of Commerce, Minority Business Development Agency. You will see some of the things that they are responsible for, whether it's one-on-one consulting and strategic alliance services to assist small businesses and MBEs with impacts related to COVID-19 and to provide contract assistance. This is a year grant or an annual grant. Some of the success stories, just wanted to mention some of these. Of course, the University of Nebraska, they are a corporate member, as well as they are sponsoring one of the sponsors along with DPS, the Whites Foundation, Gilmore Construction, United Airlines for the University of Nebraska in terms of the MBE University program. The MLB, definitely has stepped up. Of course, they were here in Colorado for the All-Star. They sponsored 50 MBEs in terms of advertising on their website. If you have not gone to the MLB website, I ask that you would do so you could check out some of our MBEs and their ads, and they will be advertised for a year. Of course, I've already mentioned the certificate Centers of Excellence program sponsored by Cargill, and then United Airlines. United Airlines has agreed to sponsor 50 MBE certifications. More information will be forthcoming, but United Airlines, exclusive airline for the council, we are very pleased to be working with them accordingly. So more in store. Meet the team. I'm trying to hurry up. This is our team. All of us can be found on the website. I've mentioned some of the names. Randy McCall is assistant to director. Of course, April, Brittany, you've already met. Stella, Liz, Brandon, and Rufus. You can find us on the council's website, as well as the board of directors. You will see the board listed there. Robert Kunze from Excel Energy is our chair of the board. Next slide. And this is the MBIC team. You've already heard from Dee. Of course, you'll be meeting more members of the team today as we move through. The MBIC is a subcommittee of the board of directors. So you will see, and if the MBIC comprises representation from our entire region. So how do we advance the brand? I'm trying to move quickly. I have not heard the bell ring yet. One of the ways that we do it is through social media. We also have testimonials, of course, video referrals. We're using it all, but monthly newsletters, strategic partners. We're members of other organizations, and we serve on various committees and boards of directors in terms of the council staff and the MBDA. Upcoming events you do not want to miss. I'm coming to a close. We have coming up on September 16th, Save the Date, Uncap the Opportunities. This is going to be our business opportunity exchange. It was great when we had the first one in May. We're bringing it to you again September 16th. We want to thank our sponsors year to date. Still time to sponsor. Next slide. This is our STAR event. If you are located here in Colorado, we are so pleased that Belco Credit Union, one of our newest corporate members, is sponsoring this event. This is going to be a meet and greet. This is going to be a chance for us to not only share the council, thank our sponsors, announce the 2 new grants, and recognize the success and the efforts of the MBDA and CARES Act. It is happening Thursday, September 23rd, and you will see the time right there. You do not want to miss. There is no cost to attend. We hope that you will. We've been calling out for nominations. This is so key. We have several award winners on this joining us today for the forum, whether it's Worldwide Technology. I believe Street Source Marketing has won in the past for Supplier of the Year, Worldwide for Supplier, MBE to MBE. This is your opportunity to nominate Supplier of the Year, that can only come from a corporation, but you can nominate for Advocate of the Year, MBE to MBE, and also Corporation of the Year. We're counting on you to submit your nominations. We have had this information online in our newsletter, and we hope that you will do your part and nominate someone worthy of an award. Next slide. The MBE University, I won't go into that. That's the Class 1. Next slide. Centers of Excellence. We already mentioned that. And this is how you contact us, headquartered here in Colorado, certainly in Kansas and Missouri, and in Nebraska in our Bellevue office. Want to thank you so very much on behalf of the Mountain Plains MSDC and the entire team. We say thank you.
Thank you so much, Belinda. We're so grateful for all of those council updates. We know that Stan Senna was on the call. Stan, if you want to say a few words, we would love for you to join in. All right, without hearing any, I will continue the program. My apologies, technical difficulties. This technology is so technical. Needless to say, we're going to continue on with the program. Without further ado, you guys are going to hear from our very own Ruth Hollins. She is also serving on your MBEIC committee. Ruth is actually the president of SOS Healthcare Staffing. Colorado SOS is proudly moving into its 37th year in business. Ruth started the industry working simply as a nursing assistant and upgraded her entire life, where she decided to open her own business after acquiring her master's degree in business administration. This company has earned both the Denver Business Journal Top 100 Award, as well as the Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce Minority-Owned Business of the Year Award. SOS provides healthcare staff for clinical and administrative healthcare jobs in hospitals, long-term care facilities, clinics, outpatient centers, surgical centers, correctional facilities, mental health facilities, and home health throughout the entire United States of America. Without further ado, I would love to introduce the wonderful, magnetic, amazing Ruth Hollins.
Well, this is technology, and so this is when you jump in and you take over. Hey, Ruth, go ahead. Ruth, are you there?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear.
Thank you. Oh Lord, this is so challenging. I tell you that. I would like to introduce the rest of the MBEIC team. Dee Arnold is MBEIC Chair, Area Vice President, Business Development of WWT. Ivan Burwell, MBEIC Vice Chair, Founder of Street Source Marketing. Pat Broxton, MBEIC Secretary, Owner and President of Broxton Designs and Development, Inc. Jamie Gutierrez, CEO and owner of Midwest Maintenance. Carlos Mierles, CEO and founder of Blue Bamboo. William King, founder of Media King Communication. And Sunil Nair, CEO of iDatalytics.
Well, thank you, Ruth. And now we're going to have a panel. April, if you could advance the slides. Ruth, I, and Ivan are going to have a panel around why we are here. Ivan?
I apologize. I was on mute. Good morning, everyone. I think this question of why we are here is an important one. And for many of us, as we think about our participation in organization, it's truly about an investment of our time, our energy, and resources. So the ultimate question is, what's in it for me? What is the value proposition? What is my return on investment, right? I think these are fair and important questions to ask. So what we'd like to do over the next few minutes is to share with you what's been important for us as MBEs and our partnership with the Mountain Plains Council. So we want to address our whys as it relates to Mountain Plains Council. You know, many of us join the council for several reasons. Access to business opportunities, Belinda spoke of that earlier. Networking, opportunity to build solid business relationships, education and training opportunities, as well as certification. And these are all legitimate and solid reasons for our participation. And it may answer for many the why, right? And it might even answer the value proposition. However, as importantly, it's being part of a business ecosystem that provides access to innovative and purposeful leadership. For us, it's like having access to a coaching staff that provides counseling, mentoring, connectivity, and more importantly, support for all of us to achieve our business goals and objectives. You know, many corporate senior teams are talking more about the importance of developing empathy and purpose within their organizations, particularly post-COVID and George Floyd. But based on our experience, the leadership of the council has always been empathetic and caring about the success and growth of MBEs. They are committed to creating sustainable business opportunities to expand our business success. We are truly part of a values-driven organization. You know, on a personal note, our company gained access to the airport industry because of the council. The many opportunities that's been afforded us over the last 8.5 years in this industry would unlikely have occurred if it were not for the council really putting us in a position to meet executives within the airport space. So we're very appreciative of that opportunity. The council believes deeply in both our business development as well as our human capital, and that truly resonates with us. We are a part of a very special ecosystem. So it's my pleasure to reintroduce my colleagues, Dee Arnold and Ruth Hollins, to share their whys.
Good afternoon again. Ivan, I don't think you could have said it any better. We are part of a larger ecosystem. When I joined the council, I was looking for business growth and business opportunities. I've been a member for over 10 years and found it real important for me to look for additional resources to help with contract opportunities. But what I found has been so much more. There's support, there's help, there's networking, but part of it is you have to get involved yourself. It just doesn't come to you. You have to go to the trade shows once we get past the COVID pandemic. You've got to do the one-on-one meetings. You've got to go to the network events. I'm happy to say that since I became a member, some of the connections that I was able to access were some of the biggest contracts that I have gotten as a owner of a business. I actually was able to obtain 2 large hospital contracts. And again, if it weren't for the help and support of the council and its members and the, what was going on a day-to-day, month-to-month basis, I don't believe it would have been possible. So I really hope that you all take advantage of the presentation today and utilize some of this information that is very important to your business growth. At least it was to mine. I'd like to introduce Dee at this point.
Yeah. Hey, Ruth, thanks for sharing your story. And the interesting thing is, when people think of Dee, they think of worldwide technology. But I'm gonna start with my history and everything. And the first thing is I used to be director of procurement, so I understand the buying process. And what many people don't know is I have my own company as well. I had a real estate and janitorial company when I lived in Atlanta, Georgia. And unfortunately for me, I did not know about this network. And so the main reason why I joined WWT, just to be honest, was to Dave Stewart was we were $1 billion company at the time. And I said, well, you know what? I just had a failed business and I wanted to learn success. And I say, what better way to learn success than to go work for the largest African-American owned company at that time? And my original plan was to work for 3 years and then go back out and start my own business. Well, I've been at WWT for 17 years. So there's a little success there. But you know what I've learned at WWT? And it's amazing because everybody thinks of WWT as this big company. But 17 years ago, when I was flying to Denver, everybody was like WW who, not WWT. And I flew into Denver for many, many years until I finally had a break. And that break was I had attended many shows, I had shook many hands, I had built many relationships. I have met Belinda, and sometimes I run when I see Belinda because she's always saying Big D, and she's like, where the wallet at, right? But I built relationships with Belinda and Stan and others throughout this period. And you never know when the right moment appears, right? And what do I mean by that? Is so one day I'm sitting at a conference and I'm like, well, you know what? The conference ain't going so great. The turnoff was kind of low in the beginning and everything. And I'm complaining like a lot of MBEs do and everything. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should get up and leave. And I said, no, you know what? I'll sit here through lunch and we'll see how it goes after that. Well, that's when my break happened. When I thought that things wasn't going my way, things started going my way. And all of a sudden on the screen, and Belinda with all her energy says, and WWT in sponsorship with EMC, right? And all of a sudden the person next to me says, you guys are partnering with EMC? And I was like, yeah. And it turned out that he was the CPO of the time at the city and county of Denver, which also included DIA. And he says to me, he says, you know what? I hate doing business with EMC. I'm like, oh, really? Why is that? And as he started telling me his pain, I started like getting excited. I'm like, yes, this is the opportunity that I've been flying to Denver for many, many years. And I finally got my breakthrough, and Belinda's on stage and she's just doing her thing. And of course, everybody's listening to her except me and Richard and the CPO of the city and county of Denver, because we're having a conversation around how I'm going to switch the business from going direct to WWT. And he was like, well, you're going to charge me more to do business. I say, no. I said, I promise you we would do the same price and everything. So lo and behold, we continued the rest of the conference. I mean, he was my best friend that day and still is one of my best friends because he really cracked the door open for WWT. I have been traveling to Denver for probably about 8 years with no opportunities, not a single one, but I kept grinding and kept coming back. And then after this meeting, it opened the door and we got our first customer in Denver, which was the city and county of Denver, which then, like Ivan, led to us doing business with DIA, or DEN now, but it was DIA at the time, but now it's DEN. And that led for our first opportunity. Now you fast forward and WWT is we have an office in Denver. I still fly in. I love the golf events and everything, and I continue to build relationships. And so I sum up everything that I've said to this point of, you never know when that opportunity is going to come. But if you're not there, that opportunity can never come. So the thing that I try to encourage MBEs to do is to be present. And I know that a lot of you are saying, well, hey, you work for WWT, you're now a $13 billion company, you can afford it. Well, guess what? When you build relationships, a lot of times you can find free things. There's a lot of corporations that have free things or extra seats. Sometimes I have extra seats and I offer it to MBEs to attend with me and everything. So I'm encouraging every MBE to be active, to be present. You never know when that opportunity is going to find you, but if you don't participate, it can't find you. Like even today, some of us are going to make a relationship that's going to make a difference in our life. But if you're not here, how are you going to make that relationship? And I see it all the time. I see MBEs say, well, I'm not getting anything out of it. And then I return to them, well, what are you putting in it? Right? So why we're here today is for everyone to be active. We encourage you to be active. And you hear another message a little bit later on in the next segment of a conversation that we're going to be having and everything. But I just want to encourage everyone to be active and to find that opportunity. And more importantly, if you didn't hear my message, get Belinda to know you and talk about your company, and the doors will open wide open.
That's awesome, Dee. That's correct. You're exactly correct. I think one of the biggest takeaways from everything that you just said is make sure that you're active, you're engaged, and that you're involved. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that we try to promote here at the council as well, is that being active and involved opens so many doors. It's one of the reasons why I try to make sure I know every MBE for the exact reason you just said, so that I can introduce them to Belinda so she can give them the world of opportunities. I think one of the other things that's very important to have that conversation, and Dee and Ruth, I know you guys are about to go into this, but that MBE to MBE relationship is something that I am always trying to drive home. If we can't advocate for each other, how do we expect other people to advocate for us? At the end of the day, I always speak about this business world being a buffet. We all have our own dishes to add to the business buffet. We need to take what we can, share it, and leave the rest. And I think some of the things that we also need to be mindful of is that in these minority business communities, we can take the business out. Our communities have always taught us to work together, to ensure that each of us are taken care of, right? One of those famous African proverbs is, you walk into a village and you ask, how are the children? Because you know that if the children are taken care of, the village is taken care of. And so that speaks to the larger aspect of even allowing us to take care of each other, to make sure that we're connecting MBE to MBE, to be using the portal that we all use to get certified and recertified, to make sure that we're making those connections, building those bridges, and enhancing our business. So without further ado, I would love to continue the conversation on those MBE to MBE connections, because I would love to know a little bit more about some of those connections. But needless to say, Dee, I know that you're going to tell us more about the MBEIC. So Dee, go ahead and take that away, and then we'll move into some of those MBE to MBE conversations.
Yeah, good morning once again. And you're going to hear a lot from me today and everything, but just want to talk about the national MBEIC, which represents all of us at the national level. And our leader of the national MBEIC is Carlton O'Neill. And I reached out to Carlton before today, and he gave me the objectives of the national MBEIC. And that is to increase the revenue and contract opportunities for certified MBEs. The second one he gave me is that we want to see class ones grow to class twos grow to class threes, and class threes grow, and et cetera. And then finally, the third thing that the national MBEIC is going to be focused on is capital and credit. As you know, in these extraordinary times, that is one of the things that is hindering our growth as minority-owned companies. We have a couple of upcoming events that I want to talk about as well. But before I do that, I want to point out that we do have our own website, and it is nmbeic.org. And that gives you access to everything that the national MBEIC is doing. But we also have a few events coming up. But before I go into our events, I want to talk about a program that the NMSDC has rolled out, and it's called Meet the New. And every month, since over the last 2 years, over 150 companies have joined the NMSDC. And every month, they're trying to get new companies in front of the MBEs. So it's important that every MBE update their profile, as the invites for these Meet the New come directly from the NMSDC, and they're only going to go to you if your profile matched the needs of the corporation. So I just want every MBE to please make sure that your profile is updated with all your offerings so that you get connected with some of the new companies. There's over 150, so there's a lot of opportunities that are growing for us and everything. So that's the first thing. The other thing is that on October the 20th and 21st, from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, the National Minority Business Input Committee is going to put on their Opportunity Accelerator 2021. And that is focused on trying to help MBEs grow their business. So please mark your calendars for that. And then the other thing that we're doing as a way of trying to, and I'm going to use one of Dave Stewart's favorite sayings, iron sharpening iron. And that's from the Bible. And what we're doing is we're having MBE regional presentations called My Region, and where we share what other MBICs are doing to help each other understand what works and what hasn't worked, or new ideas that may be out there. So we're doing a lot of cross-sharing across the 23 leaders of the MBIC, and we're finding out some great ideas, and we're trying to implement some of them locally. And then the last initiative that we have, and there's going to be a video that comes out on this, it's called MBEs Means Business. And so look for that. It's going to be a video that we're creating that's going to be published, and you will be able to find it out on the website and other places as well. But we're trying to get our visibility up as well across all MBEs. So we're doing a lot. We want to see our MBEs grow. You know, a lot of corporations, as Belinda spoke to in her presentation, have made commitments to doing business with minority-owned companies. And so we want to make sure that we are leveraging that to the best of our ability. And so, I always say you can reach out to me. If you don't have my contact information, you can reach out to Brittany and get to me and have her do an introduction, because I do get a lot of emails. And so if Brittany does the introduction, she'll stay on me to make sure that I follow up and everything. So when I think of two women with a lot of energy, it's the B's. It's Belinda and Brittany. So watch out.
I mean, I have a little energy. I don't know.
Just a little bit. If I could bottle the two B's up, I'd be a billionaire.
That's so funny, Dee. You talked about the golf tournament earlier, and while we were at the golf tournament, I was walking around selling raffle tickets and doing the same thing you said Belinda did earlier. Where's your wallet? And somebody on the golf course said, who invited baby Belinda to this event? And I was like, yes. Now, where's your wallet? No, I'm just joking. But thank you, Dee, so much for those updated MBEIC updates. I did put the website in the chat for everyone, so you have easy access to it. Click on that link. It'll take you straight to the MBEIC website, as well as I put the information that Dee suggested for everyone in the chat as well. If you need updated NAICS codes or an updated capability statement for your profile, make sure that you send me an email either at certification@mpmsdc.org, or you can email me directly, brittany@mpmsdc.org, and we can go ahead and work on your capability statements and NAICS codes together. So thank you, Dee, for those NMSDC MBEIC updates, all of the acronyms. But again, going back to that MBE to MBE connection, you just spoke about that for even the NMSDC sending out these Meet the New updates. There are ways for us to go ahead and say, you know what, let's just tackle Qdoba together. Let's go ahead and tackle Starbucks together. Let's go ahead and find a way for us to use each other to help each other. Oh, you do website development? Perfect. I need you to help me develop my website so that I can get this contract with T-Mobile. So let's just make sure that we're using each other as that resource in order to do business with each other. So to talk further about that, of course, is going to be the infamous Ruth Hollins, and of course, Dee Arnold with WWT.
Thank you, Brittany. I was thinking about, again, my certification. When you become certified and then even recertified, you get a welcome letter. And on the welcome letter, the first few sentences say, you are part of an expansive network of national and regional organizations dedicated to helping you achieve your business goals. A little further down, it says, now that you're certified, you're entitled to several benefits, including opting in to MBE, to the MBE database. It's signed by our infamous Stan Center. But one of the things I would like to encourage you to do is not just use this as a piece of paper to pull out of your drawer or pull off your server or just kind of look at every once in a while. It's to start to engage in that expansive network that you have, or we all have access to. MBE to MBE, to me, means community. It means family. It offers so much more. And some of these words you're going to hear, or some of these terms you're going to hear throughout the day. You have the opportunity to network with like MBEs, build relationships, share information pertaining to your industry, increase your company visibility. Most people like to do business with people that they know. And working with each other brings you more business. And it's not just about business. Again, it's about cultivating relationships. Most of you know that being in business can be really lonely sometimes. And part of what you get from this committee, this family, is support. And I can't say enough about the support that I've received throughout my years. So again, when you think of community, I think of networking, sharing, engaging, developing relationships, finding other MBEs that want to grow just like you want to grow. One of my examples is that I met Dee years and years and years ago at a networking event. And we kind of, lost track of each other. And then we kind of reconnected, kind of over the years we reconnect. And WWT was having an open house. I decided to go to the open house just to provide support and see what was going on. And again, my networking. From there, Dee and I continued to talk. And just recently, Dee offered, he knew I had a son that was going to college. And Dee offered support to my son. He's in the engineering program at CSU. And he offered support to my son that has been invaluable. For a few weeks after I introduced him to Dee and he started talking, all I heard was, Mom, I talked to Dee today. Mom, I got a text today. Mom, Dee told me about this scholarship. Dee told me about this internship. In fact, it was D for a few weeks. And it's like, how awesome is that? How awesome is that for someone to think enough about me being a part of this program and about my son, just taking the extra steps. I can't tell you enough about how I appreciate those types of relationships, because it's relationships building. It's not just about business, it's relationships.
This is Pat Duncan, and Wendy was supposed to leave me a name of a.
I'm sorry, Pat, what did you say?
Keep going, Ruth, you're fine.
Oh, okay. One thing I want to challenge you is to reach out. Use the website, the MBE to MBA. Reach out. Maybe just do small steps. Maybe reach out to 2 people a month and see where that takes you. I think if you think about it, and if you do it and you're active at it, it will take you a long way. One of my favorite sayings right now is, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, working together is success. Dee?
Yeah. Hey, all I really should do is just drop the mic after that, Ruth. I mean, that was so on point, and it's hard to follow up with, right? But, you talk about the community, right? And how we built the relationship. And let me say something. it's an honor for me to serve your son, because when I spoke to the young man, I was like, wow, what a bright young man. He needs support. We should be supporting each other. And I say that in that when we talk about MBE to MBE, a lot of time we only think about the business aspect of it, but there is the community aspect of it as well. You know, like when I talk to an MBE, I don't rush in to try to, I'm a reference the Get Married in 30 Days TV show that I see the commercials on. I'm not rushing in to get married, right? But I do want to learn more about you. I do want to find out more about you, because that's the building of the relationship. And I'll be honest, if I married you and I only met you 30 days ago, what's the chance of success, right? It has to be something really, really special and everything. And so when you meet a person, the thing is, and you know that they're the MBE owner, then guess what? You just met another CPO. You just met another chief procurement officer. Because when you are a small company, guess what? You wear many, many hats as the leader. You are the CPO, you're the CFO, you're the COO, you're all of these operations within one person. And so I see MBE standing in a line to talk to a corporation when there's another CPO standing right next to them and they won't even say 3 words. But you never know what you may be able to sell to that individual. And so MBEs, if we're going to be successful, if we're going to move the ball forward, we have to look at each other and we have to say, you know what? There are 9,000 plus MBEs in this world that maybe I can do business with. How many of those are you going to be able to do business with many times before you can do business with that corporation? And so we really have to start saying to ourselves, let me be intentional on meeting each other to see if there's a need. I always say, how many people who have a business buy paper goods, right? Something very basic that every corporation needs, or pens, or paper clips, or staples, right? We all need those. Guess what? There are MBEs that sell that simple stuff. And if every MBE was to look at their business and buy it from an MBE, think of the influence that we will have. You know, in the minority community, we need to talk about how often we circulate that dollar before it leaves our community. Because if we look at that, if we can now increase it from 1 to 2 to 3 times, not only are we creating more viable minority businesses, but we're creating more viable jobs for minorities. And so as we start to talk about MBE to MBE, yes, every CEO is a CPO, and we need to have that mindset. And let me just be honest. I joined WWT after it had been in business for 13 years. And in the beginning, we didn't have a supply diversity program. And in that 15th year, when we tried to establish a diversity program, we realized we had invested in some partnerships that made it hard to decouple from some of those relationships and then bring in a new relationship, right? So it's important that even though you're a class 1, a class 2, or even a class 3, that you start thinking about a supply diversity program yourself early on, so you don't run into those obstacles that we faced when we were 15 years in as a company trying to start a diversity program and saying, well, we got this great partner over here, but could we do business with the MBE? Now, once again, things happen, and we're proud of our MBE program, our supply diversity program that we have today, but there was challenges in the beginning of that. And so if everybody started from when they were class 1 thinking about having a supply diversity program, then we will see more success. And then I just really wanted to expand it to the community. We need to start supporting each other. If you come on my website and you see that, you know, maybe something's not right, be my friend, be my advisor, you know, and I do believe that we as MBE should have board members, and some are going to be unpaid based on the size, and some may be paid, but we should also have advisors who objectively look at our business and give us guidance. And what better way than to get another MBE to help you, and then he turns around or she turns around and help you. And so, like, one of the things that I've coached MBEs on when they reach out to me is I go out to their website, and if I don't see anything that they're doing about in the community, that's one of the first things I tell MBEs. I was like, you know, corporations are caring about what you're doing in the community today. You need a page up that talks about what you're doing in the community, so that when corporations come to your website, they see more than just the product that you're selling. They see who you are. And so it's little things like that that we can help each other. And once again, I'm gonna go back to Dave Stewart's favorite saying, iron sharpens iron. But also in the Bible, it says a counsel of many is a wise counsel. And so while we're smart individually, we're even smarter when we have a group of counsels who help us. And so MBEs, let's look at us not as just an opportunity to do business with each other. Let's look at us as partners where we can partner together. Let's look at us as a community where we can help each other. And more importantly, let's invest in each other's children. If you have an internship and you know another MBE, let's try to make sure that we're helping their children, because that takes a lot of pressure off the business owner as well. And that's what I want to do when I saw Ruth's son is, you know, a black man in engineering is a tough road. And so I wanted to make sure that if there's anything that I or WWT can do to support him, that we will. Back to you, Brittany.
Thank you so much, Dee. All words of wisdom, all powerful words, of course. We are going to have our keynote speaker in the next few minutes, but in the interim, we're going to go ahead and give you guys about a 10-minute break. Go ahead and get some coffee. I know I need a refill. I'm sure Stan does as well. Go ahead and use the restroom. And during this break, we're going to go ahead and ask a few survey questions for you all. These questions are multiple choice. You can go ahead and vote at your leisure during this break that you all have. But of course, this is about a 10-minute break. So be back in about 10 minutes and we will be hearing none other from the amazing Sunil, who will introduce our keynote speaker. During this break, go ahead and answer these questions. There are about 6 poll questions posed by your very own MBEIC. They should be on your screen now. Feel free to answer those questions during this break, and we look forward to seeing you back in about 10 minutes.
so tired. Well, I wasted all my tears, wasted all those years, and nothing had the chance to be good. 'Cause nothing ever could. Oh, oh, I'll keep holding on. I'll keep holding on. I'll keep holding on. I'll keep holding on. Holding, holding, holding on. I said, ooh, well, that's all I have to say. It's all I have to say. Holding back the years, thinking of the fear I had so long. When somebody listen to the fear that's gone, wrangled by the wishes of faith, hoping for the arms of nature, yet to meet us sooner or later.
As the last 2 minutes of our break start to commence, we're going to review some of these survey questions while we're waiting on the last few people to come back from those coffee and bathroom runs. That first question was, have you bought the following from a big store for your business? The first answer was office equipment. 67% of the people that participated said yes, they've purchased office equipment from a big business. 83% said yes, they've purchased office supplies from a big business. 42% said business cards, and 25% said other services. This speaks to Dee's point about there's MBEs that have all of these same resources. Let's go ahead and start using each other to ensure that we're promoting business amongst ourselves. That next question was, what are your expectations from being a certified MBE? The largest selection was 42% of you said connections, making those connections for corporate members as well as other MBEs. 33% said more business. The expectation was to receive more business. 17% said education or training, and 8% said one-on-one mentoring, which is something that we definitely promote here within the council. The third question we had was, how can your MBEIC support you better? The highest response was response C, which was make introductions to corporations. 67% of you responded with that. The other two responses that had an even number, 17% for both responses, was with training and making introductions to other MBEs. That next question was, what are some areas of training that the MBEIC can provide? 50% of you said you would love training on RFPs. So MBEIC, take note, they would love some training on RFPs. The next highest section was technology with 25%. And then marketing and sales had the next percentage with 17%. And finally, financial or accounting information had 8%. That next question was, are you willing to assist other MBEs? 50% of you said, absolutely, we would love to partner together. 42% of you said, I would love to buy from other MBEs. And 8% said, I could mentor an MBE or two. Our last survey or poll question was, what makes your business unique? And I love that half of you said exactly what you should have. Your product or your service is what makes you unique. It is your niche. And that's exactly why you're a business owner. 33% of you said it's the approach that you have. And then with a tie of 8%, you said your intellectual property or other aspects make you unique. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end that poll. As you guys can see here, we have all of the results here. And without prolonging the program, we'll go ahead and continue with the next portion. I'm very excited to hear from our upcoming speaker. But without further ado, I would love to introduce Sunil Nair. He's the owner of ID Analytics, and he is also one of my favorite MBEs to talk to all the time. Sunil and I have a very close relationship, so when he
You're back, D.
All right. We're back in the general session.
We're back.
We're back.
Hey, Albert.
Hi. Hi, Brittany. Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello.
D, that was actually very good. Resonates very well.
Thank you.
You know, but I understand that level. You have to be on that personal level. It makes the difference.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brittany, is everybody back?
Yes, everyone from the breakout rooms is back into the main session.
All righty. Well, before I speak, do we have Stan? Is Stan still on?
I just sent you a message.
Okay. Okay. All righty. Well, hopefully everybody had a great day. Unfortunately, we can't hear from Stan today. I was hoping that we could get a few words from him, but initially technical issues and then time expired on him from his availability and everything. But I want to thank my team who supported and helped put this together. The MBIC is a bunch of leaders who are volunteering to help shape your goals, your future, your path, and everything. We want to encourage everybody to participate and be part of the team. So just want to thank my team. Two, want to thank Miss Brittany, or let me say, I want to thank Junior Belinda.
Yes.
Right. For hosting us today and guiding us today and everything, and the energy that she brings and everything. And then after I thank the Junior Belinda, I want to thank the Senior Belinda for her wisdom throughout the day and participation as well. And other than protecting your wallet, if you don't know Belinda, I gotta say, she's just a person that everybody needs to know and everything. We want to thank Stan for his leadership of the council and giving us the platform that we have. And finally, I also want to thank our guest speaker, Isaac, and the message that he delivered today as well. Some of the things that I spoke of having mentors and advisors is some of the things that he spoke of as well. And then I want to thank all the individuals that hosted the individual breakout rooms, and hopefully everybody received a good message in those breakout rooms. And I know we had a guest speaker in there as well. I'm gonna leave you with this. Please be active. Put in good, you get out good. You put in bad, you get bad, right? If you really, really are invested in your business and you really want to see it grow, your certificate doesn't do anything for you. It's the networking that it allows you to do, right? And I really just want to encourage everybody to be active, volunteer, get your name out there so that you can become a one-letter name and people know who you are, right? We could call Sunil S, right? And then when we say S, everybody know it's him, right? And everything. But I believe that if everybody would spend a little bit more time getting to know each other, building relationships, supporting each other, we can lift the whole community up and we can see more success in the minority community. And I also believe it's important, as we spoke earlier, that we look at the MBE to MBE relationship, not just in doing business with each other, but how can we support each other, even our family members and everything, because I think that's where we become a greater society if we support each other. So with that, I want to really just thank you for your time. Thank you for attending. I look forward to seeing everybody in person, hopefully soon. But until then, we do have Zoom calls and we have to make the most of what we have. Like I said, we got to make lemonade out of lemons, and we're doing that in this case. But I can't wait till we're in person. But until then, let's stay in touch. And once again, if you want to reach out to me, reach out to Brittany. She'll connect us and she'll stay on me to make sure that I connect with you as well. And other than that, thanks and have a blessed day.
Thank you. Great job. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, April, Brittany. Good job.